What things can we do as a couple if we're raising our grandchildren?
Raising grandkids, it's really tough. We are doing that. We are parenting my biological oldest granddaughter, and she's now 18 and a half. We've had her since birth. Fortunately, we have a good relationship with her mother, my daughter, and it was career and work, and of course she was an unexpected blessing, not planning on her arrival, and so we decided to support that relationship. And we bonded with this child and then worked out an amicable legal guardianship. But the stories we hear, it's not always amicable, and it can be kids on drugs, it can be kids in jail, it can be divorce, it can be any number of things that leaves these wonderful little children in need of parenting. And I've never seen more inspirational people than I have as grandparents raising grandchildren. And I'm not necessarily talking about us, because we've had a chance to interact with these people. It changes your whole life. It changes your couple relationship. It changes what you expected at this part of your life. We now have a walking retirement. She's 18 and a half years old. You know, will we have anything left when we're through with her? It's changed our social life. Now, thank the Lord, we had some friends that stuck by us that were our age, and now we're bringing along this baby and this toddler, and she's growing up. But you know, some of our friends didn't want to be involved with that at all. We actually started making younger friends that stuck by us. And what else has it changed?
Well, I think when you make the decision, and when I made the decision with Carrie to take legal guardianship of a little one that was you could hold in your hand, I hadn't even thought about her growing up and becoming a teenager, me getting older, so the discrepancy in her energy and mine, the gap grew wider and wider.
Well, I remember what we thought. We thought, we've parented before, we know how to do this, we can handle this. And then reality set in.
Well, for me, it brought out every parenting flaw that I ever owned or had, because I had raised 3 sons, we had parented Carrie's daughter, and so as Carrie said, we thought, at least we had a leg up on it. Forget that.
Oh, plus we had different parenting styles. I'm the brick wall and he's the easy mark. So now we'd never gotten married to raise children together, so we had to work out a parenting style at this age of the game. And then, you know, of course, my style's right, his style's right. So we had to, as a couple, work through how are we going to handle this.
Well, and we do believe in preparation, because the decision is a long-term decision, and that grandchild may experience death quicker, you know, in a primary relationship than they would normally, because the parents are younger. But when grandparents choose to take grandchildren and parent them, we really suggest making a big picture type of decision. And one of the principles, if you're willing to take the responsibility, you better consider getting the rights as well.
The authority.
That means anything from a legal guardianship, or at least being awarded custody by the court system. So there's a lot of ramifications, because as grandparents, you may find yourself caught in between your grandchildren and your children. And that can be a very, very uncomfortable place.
I want to revisit what you said about death. His mother, who was her step-great-grandmother, became like a grandmother. She watched her die. My parents, which were actually great-grandparents, she watched both of them die. And she considered those 3 people like grandparents since we were parents. So they're exposed to a lot more because of the generation gap that the parents are having.
And to illustrate the dilemma of even making the decision, as we were speaking to a group of grandparents that were parenting, I talked to a gentleman that was 72 years old, and he was in the process of adopting, not legal guardianship, but adopting 3 preteens. I looked at him and I said, man, you're going to die. And he said, yeah, I know, but what are you going to do? Do you take your blood and farm it out to somebody else in the foster care system? It's very, very, very difficult. But echoing what Carrie said, we have found that grandparents that are parenting are a very, very special breed of people, and they're growing by leaps and bounds as the number of grandchildren that need taking in grow.
We suggest you find support. We suggest education. AARP has a lot of resources on their site, but you're going to need help, you're going to need support, and you're going to need each other.